Hey everybody, I'm going to read from Mine to Claim today. I've written it with Holly Holston, and it's in the Fated Mates box set coming out June 4th. I can't wait for this box set. I know y'all are excited about it too. So here we go. Mine to Claim. I'm starting in Chapter 2. Black shook his head and then had a whole body shudder that made even his toes shake. When he stilled, he hit me with a hard stare. "Listen, I'm good for the bell." I rolled my eyes. "You missed court." "Stop rolling your eyes," he said. "Ha! Stop being an idiot." "Sorry I missed the date, but I had an appointment. Can you give a guy a break?" He held out his hands, then had the audacity to actually bat his eyes at me. My soulmate wasn't just a criminal, but an idiot too. What would he try next? I shook my head, my resolve strengthening. "I'm not letting you go." "But I have—" "Save it for the judge, darling," I emphasized, the last word, thinking the fates really had done a number on me. This wasn't the type of man I was supposed to be with. I shivered as the sizzle in my nerves increased, and that 1 second I had been drawn to him came back to me. Maybe that had been the warning. My arm ached and I shuddered. No doubt this was my mate, and I had a newly minted soul mark etched somewhere on my skin. Black glanced down, then tugged at his shirt. "I can't believe you tore my shirt." The zing of cloth ripping filled the space between us as he pulled harder on the front. The rip extended, splitting around the side and up the front. Now his chest was bare. My gaze landed on his left pec. His mark was vibrant, the skin a little red around the edges. I gulped, my lungs sizzling with hope and fear. While he was shirtless, I looked. He had a nice dusting of dark hair over his tight pecs, and he was trim with enough muscle to look nice. Definitely a runner's body. My eyes slid lower to his abs. I shivered at the chiseled muscle and the hint of a V dipping below the waistband of his jeans. "Damn it, you've ruined my favorite shirt." Black was staring at the cloth. Was he oblivious to what was happening? He glanced up and hit me with a deadpan stare, and my stomach twisted. "I have a mate, a real mate." Panic made its rounds, leaving my hands shaking and my head spinning. I stared at his mark, a moon, darkened with only a sliver showing lighter, and swallowed over my emotions. All the mated members of my family had the eclipse moon mark on our pack on our body. I forced a calm I didn't feel before I spoke. "Who is your mate?" I needed to hear his answer, though I already knew what he would say. Maybe he was mated to a relative of mine, or perhaps luck was with me and there were 2 coyote packs that had the exact same mark. Doubtful. "What?" His nose curled and his brows bunched. "I'm not mated." My hand shook as I stuck out my finger and pointed. You have a mark." "No, I don't." Black glanced down and gasped before he started flapping his hands, trying to wipe it away. "Oh God, get it off, get it off." My mouth hung open as I watched in horror while he batted his cuffed hands at his chest. He hadn't known about the mark. How the heck had he missed what had been so obvious? Dread and rage filled me. I didn't have time for this shit. This wasn't like being picked for the wrong dodgeball team or choosing the wrong wine to drink on a first date. No, this was big and irrevocable. There were no take-backsies, no returns. Soul marks were for life. My mother's words came back to me. "Sierra, if you don't find your mate soon, you'll end up with Itchy Iggy down the street." Iggy wasn't too bad, but he had this habit of picking lint out of his belly button during dinner, then placing it on his fork and eating it. Now, upon reflection, maybe Iggy's lint fetish wasn't too bad. At least he had an honest job and wasn't a criminal. I had the worst luck in the world. Your mark, Black bellowed. Show me your mark. Please don't say you have one. Black's voice went high as he begged. I didn't have one 20 minutes ago. Show me your stupid mark. I tugged down the collar of my black V-neck shirt and snorted. There, I've got nothing, hoping the sight of my unmarked chest would pacify him. It didn't. Arms. Let me see your arms. He sucked in a breath and yelled when I didn't move fast enough. Now! I pushed up the sleeve of my jacket, exposing my forearms. The eclipse moon stood out, plain as day, mocking me. Since it was new, the skin around my mark burned bright red, signaling to anyone who looked upon it, I had a brand new mate. Lucky me. I swallowed over my fear and met his big blue, bugged-out eyes. He looked as terrified as I felt. I didn't mean to, was all I could think to say. How pathetic. Duh, of course you didn't. That's what fated means. Black snorted and wiped his chest again. Guess you can't take me in now. Ha, I laughed. Guess again, Black. I have to do it. Anger flitted over his features, his eyes going dark, like clouded skies. I shivered. Black cocked an eyebrow, a smug as shit grin covering the lower half of his face. Really, how would that look? You bringing in your mate? Again the eye roll happened. Jesus, stop rolling your eyes. They'll get stuck. Will not, I spit back. Black's lips twitched up, and I thought for a second he was going to laugh. Then he sobered and held out his hand. Please? At the station, I said. I stood and pulled him to his feet. He waggled his eyebrows, and I cringed. Then his lips were beside mine, and awareness zinged through me. Fire licked down my spine, and my knees shook. He was too close for me to think straight. Neither of us moved as the seconds ticked by. A bird screeched above. A car at street level rolled past. Luke Bryan, play it again, so loud on the radio it filtered up. But my focus stayed solid on Black. I struggled to breathe. He was too close. I wanted to hold him tight and devour him, but I resisted. And then his lips made contact with my cheek, and boom, everything changed. It was like the air had been ripped from my lungs. The world around us grew still, and I swore the rhythm of his heart was in sync with mine. My soul mark sparked to life, trying to connect with his, drawing us together. And that's from Mind to Claim in Fated Mates, coming June 4th.